Hey, welcome to the podcast that was voted one of the best in the marketing research industry, first in 2019, and we're proud to say again in 2020. This is Research Business Daily Report, the only daily research news video report, and we've been that for the last 10 years. Now, we do rely on viewer support, and you can pitch in, and we'll tell you how at the end of today's video. I'm Bob Lederer, in my 26th year as a respected voice in market research. Tom Woodnutt, founder of Feeling Mutual Insight and Strategy Consultancy in the UK, is an award-winning qualitative research expert, par excellence. He decided a few years ago to commission a psychology literature review about online qualitative research. And the results of that review gained greater importance after COVID hit, and the research industry made a once-in-a-lifetime major quick shift to online. He told the RBDR that the single most notable conclusion from the study was that one of the biggest enemies of the qualitative researcher is participant demotivation. Inspiring motivation will be the focus of Tom's training session taking place December 1st and 2nd, and we'll tell you later on how you can enroll for either of those two sessions. But there's a lot more to understand about online and offline qualitative, and today Tom has agreed to present differences in both modes of Qual. It's interesting and important insight. Here's Tom.
I've been running online Qual studies since 2007, and in my time as both a practitioner and a trainer for online methods, I've heard many traditionalist qualitative researchers say that online methods are not Qual. They're inferior to face-to-face. I really don't believe this to be true, and I know I'm not alone. As with any method, there are pros and cons of each, and it's critical that we understand the trade-offs between them, how they really work, in order to work out which to use. In order to develop my understanding of how online Qual is different from face-to-face, I commissioned an academic review of online Qual methods and related topics, including cognition, emotion, and motivation. Online does offer some advantages versus face-to-face Qual, but also some disadvantages, and here I'm going to summarize some of what I learned in the academic review. First of all, one of the benefits of online Qual is that people are often less inhibited and more emotionally open. They're more at ease compared with in-person discussions, which is often in a formal viewing facility setting where you're sat next to a bunch of strangers with a two-way mirror. It's very artificial. Whereas online, people are in a more familiar, safe, natural and comfortable environment. And all of this makes them feel less self-conscious, less intimidated and more likely to be open. Online Qual can also have less group effects. And here, when I say online Qual, I'm talking specifically about asynchronous online Qual. It's spread across a few days, like in a message board forum context. In that scenario, you can set someone's feedback to be private, so they're less likely to be influenced by what other people are saying because they simply can't see it. Whereas in a real-time group session, particularly face-to-face, people will be influenced by the perceived status of other people in that group. And there's lots of studies that point to the idea that people will perhaps disagree because they feel like someone else is trying to assert their high status, or indeed just agree and default to what the high status people are saying, all of which can reduce the reliability of what you're hearing. And there's also an interesting concept in the literature called collaborative inhibition, which says that lower status people in a group discussion can even forget their own memories because they default to what the higher status people say when they share their memories. So there's even an impact on memory and recall. This effect is removed in asynchronous online Qual when you can set it to private. Finally, on the advantages side, asynchronous online Qual give more time for the moderator and participants to develop their thoughts. They can be more introspective, and this can lead to more considered and authentic responses. Whereas in real-time live sessions, people can be rushed into an answer. They can default to more superficial processing. And here's some disadvantages of online Qual. Obviously, there's two sides to every story. The main one that the literature suggests is that moderators have less control online. It's harder to build up rapport with participants when you're remote, and rapport is essential to the constructive relationship in a group discussion because it motivates people to focus, to engage, to be honest and helpful. And this can reduce the power of the moderator online because it is remote and that is a challenge that we face online, but there are ways around that. There's also what they call a cognitive load in online, particularly in webcam sessions. So this cognitive load is imposed by a degree of confusion among participants as to things like when it's their turn to talk, what's the appropriate pace of speaking. All of this is harder for them to work out remotely in online webcam compared to face-to-face, where the cues are much stronger. So this can lead to more automatic responses and less considered responses. And the theory behind this is to do with the heuristic systematic processing model. And so people are taking these mental shortcuts, and studies have shown they're more likely to judge superficial things like the appearance and likability of the moderator rather than the perceived quality of the content that they're sharing. Another big shortcoming in online Qual is the lack of body language which is available. This is another important nuance in communication that we lose when we go online. Things like micro expressions and just that ethereal feeling in the room. A lot of that is lost online. So that's some of what I learned in the academic review. There's a lot more in there, and there's also what I've learned from my own experience, having used a number of methods, including face-to-face, over the years.
If you'd like to know more about Tom Woodnutt's upcoming training sessions, again, that's December 1st and December 2nd, what he calls How Psychology Can Inspire Better Online Qualitative Research, well, please use the link we have put in the description box underneath today's report. That's a wrap on this Research Business Daily Report and for this week. And as we mentioned at the start of today's video, we hope you will become a supporter of ours, what we call an RBDR Patreon supporter, because our video series is viewer supported. An RBDR Patreon supporter agrees to provide using their monthly contribution via a credit card, perhaps $5 or $10 if you're an individual, or $25 or more might be a suggestion if you're a business. Both help us maintain the excellence of our reports. And why should you support us? Well, because if you're watching RBDR once in a while or with any regularity, we don't think it's too much to ask you to please visit our exclusive crowdfunding platform at patreon.com/RBDR, where you can select whatever level of support is comfortable for you. After all, we're giving you interesting information that you personally can use, you can share internally, and you can even share externally with friends and peers. We hope you have a good research day and that this has been a productive and profitable research week, no matter how you measure that. Please enjoy this upcoming weekend, and next week, for Thanksgiving, we're actually going to take off, but we're going to give you the best of RBDR Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to keep you interested. We'll return with a fresh package of RBDR videos on Monday, November the 29th. So have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see you November 29th, and until then, please stay safe.